Hey, Deb. I'm trying to get to full screen. Not sure how this happened. Let's see. All right. If you can hold on 1 second, I'm going to see if he can let me change the speaker view. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to see if he can change the screen so that I can record this. So it'll take just a second here, Deb.
Okay. Am I the only one here?
Mm-hmm. But so you can, if you want to block yourself out, I'm recording this one. So I want to put this one on my YouTube channel.
How do I do that?
There should be little blue buttons up, I think, in the right corner.
Yeah, I'm on my phone, not my iPad, because I didn't have it charged enough. Okay. Let me see. Shit, I can't figure this. I'm trying to figure out how.
Well, really all you need to do now is just turn off your mic and you should be fine.
I can help with that.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. Beautiful.
All set.
And we're going to start in a seated position. So whichever one makes you more comfortable. Let's see. All right, we'll just try and cut some of this off. It's recording. All right, so we'll start in a seated position. I have suggested a blanket and a block for today's practice. They may not be necessary at all for you, but if you find them to be useful, and you think to yourself, geez, I don't really have one, but I have a big book that I can use or whatever, that's fine. But if you're looking for yoga blocks too, I do have some of these. So if you would like them, I'm happy to sell them. I also have Mexican blankets. So we'll be using a blanket near the end, and I'll show you why. So let's just first of all, start our practice. Just open and close your fingers. Sort of let your breath come way out of your lungs, everything nice and relaxed. And together we'll drop the chin down toward the chest. Just stretching the back of your neck, checking in with your body, seeing how you're feeling. And then slowly let your gaze go up toward the ceiling, maybe even letting your head go all the way back. Feel that stretch across your throat and across your clavicles. And then bring your jaw to a parallel position with the floor. So the crown of your head is up toward the ceiling, shoulders relaxed away from your ears, nice tall position here. We're going to close our eyes for a moment and just focus on your breathing. Taking big, deep breaths into the lungs, filling them up to capacity, and without collapsing, just let your breath come out. And one last big in. Now, as you open your eyes, shoulders will stay away from the ears. We're going to keep our breathing just nice and mindful. You don't need to be breathing that deeply through your practice. It would be kind of distracting. We're going to take the hands onto the knees and let your right ear go over towards your right shoulder. And maintaining this really nice tall posture will let the chin go down toward the chest and then the left ear over toward the left shoulder. And again, in one smooth move, the chin down toward the chest and right ear toward the right shoulder. Chin to the chest and left ear toward the left shoulder. Now listen carefully. We're going to take our gaze up toward the ceiling, reaching the arms out. Your jaw comes back to parallel. We'll slide that right hand across your mat, reaching over with your left arm. We're going to look up at that crook in the elbow, really stretching through your rib cage, keeping your hips planted on the floor. Just the arm reaching, feeling that through your rib cage, come up and over the other way. And up and over again. Over to the left. Now this time we're going to hold that arm over to the left. And as you reach with that right hand, now we're going to reach the right hand toward the mat. Oh, feel that stretch really a lot through your waist here. And then as you release, we come up and over, right hand comes over, and then left hand meets it. Ooh, stretch into that rib cage, feeling your back. And back to center we come. Hands come to the knees. We're going to let that chin come all the way forward, back nice and flat here. Really reaching out, feeling the hips and the back, getting a deep stretch here. We're going to take the weight into your right thigh with your right hand and just push yourself over the left. And here we go, stirring up the pot. You round your back, come over to the right, come forward again, sweeping around like you're a big spoon in a great big pot. Really rounding the back as you go back and really flattening it out as you come forward, leading with the chin. And as you bring yourself forward, we're going to push off that left leg and just simply reverse the circle. Hips staying glued to the floor, feet crossed in front, your body coming over the top. You can feel, all kinds of things, especially when you change direction. It's interesting that you can feel a little bit more intensity on one side than the other. Good. Now as you come back around, you're going to find your chin sort of leading over the tops of your ankles. Let's reach out with those hands. See if you can feel a little stretch there. Ooh wee. I'm feeling this way back into my hips and into the IT band, maybe into the back a little. And then once you feel like you've reached as far as you can, let the upper body just fold forward. Let the arms get heavy, kind of sliding across the mat back to you. And feeling that round back, the weight of your head stretching the upper back and into your traps and shoulders. And then slowly we ease up bone by bone by bone. Let's sweep the arms up overhead, beginning to really warm ourselves up. We take the hands together as if in prayer, fingertips to the heels of your hands, energetically pressing those fingers and heels of your hands together. Sweep out again, up. Now as you take your gaze up toward your hands, I want you to look forward as you pull your elbows next to your rib cage. Then reach up. and down. As you look up, you're looking toward those hands. And then you look forward as you pull the elbows close. Good. One more time. Reach up. Now this time we're going to open up that right hand behind us. Use it as a kickstand. Take the left hand to the right thigh and look over the shoulder. Release both arms up. We go again. And twisting to the left hand becomes the kickstand as we look over the left shoulder. Good. Reaching up to the sky again. Open up to the right. Here we go. Twisting through that waist. Feeling maybe just a little bit more warmed up. Reaching up to the sky. And one last time over that left shoulder. Opening up the heart, the chest. And feel those shoulders get a little less cranky. And then coming back to center, we're going to reach those arms up. Keep your gaze forward. We'll interlace those fingers. Push them up toward the sky. And as your hands come down about shoulder height, really feel your shoulder blades come up away from each other. Stretching, rounding out that back, and let your chin go toward your chest. Releasing the hands back behind us. Now your fingertips can point away from your hips or towards your hips. We're going to walk. That's neither here nor there. We're going to walk the hands back a little and let the chest go forward, stretching through your belly, your rib cage. Take your eyes to the ceiling, really stretching across the front side of the body. You'll feel those forearms and biceps get a little stretch here. And then slowly as you lift your head, walk yourself back to center. And we'll tip back, sweep the feet out. Oh my goodness. Feeling all that blood rush into your tootsies. So you just give them a little circle out, or maybe you can just wobble your legs back and forth. That might help, or up and down, whatever works for you. Now we're going to make our way to our tabletop position. So I'm going to go sideways here so you can see what it looks like. Knees underneath the hips, hands beneath the shoulders. So rather than out here, because we want to be a table. I would not trust this table with my coffee on it, so I'm going to put them right under my shoulders. Knees stacked beneath the hips. I want you to gently apply as much pressure into your fingertips as you do the heel of your hand. So you don't feel like your wrist is taking all that work. Really opening up your fingers as wide as you think you can. The tops of your feet are on the floor. We're going to sink the hips back toward the heels. Now, if they touch the heels, beautiful. But if they don't, that's spectacular. Whatever your body is willing to give you today, you take it, because sometimes it can be a little stingy. Now, we're going to slide the hands out in front of us and let that pelvis come toward the mat. Again, oh my goodness, you can kind of rock side to side here, explore your flexibility or lack thereof, right? And then send the hips back. And then slide the hands forward again. Pelvis coming toward the floor. And then slowly take those hips back toward your heels. Good. Now as we rest the forearms down on the floor, let's see how this feels. Your belly coming to your thighs, maybe your forehead comes all the way to the mat. Now, if you're feeling some inflexibility here, this is where I would sometimes bring a block. So it's shortest end is here. I can just kind of rest my forehead there and sink in. But if I want a little deeper stretch, I can get all the way in. Good. Then we'll walk ourselves up to our nice strong table again. Hands are going to be beneath the shoulders and the knees stacked beneath the hips. We're going to sink that belly down toward the floor. Eyes and tailbone are going to come toward the sky. Really stretching across that belly. Then we tuck the tailbone under and let the eyes gaze toward the navel and just really stretch up like a Halloween cat. Now remember, you can bend your elbows here. You can take your feet a little wider. You can move your hands a little closer together, a little further apart while you're doing this little cat-cow. Whatever works for you. You can play around with this too. Good. One more round with this cat-cow. Then as you bring yourself back to your nice neutral position, we'll take the hands right underneath the shoulders again and knees back beneath the hips if you moved them around. And let's just waggle the hips side to side. I almost said your tail, but it kind of is like you're a dog, kind of wagging your tail side to side. And then if you want to take your gaze toward your hip as you go side to side, you really feel those obliques, the muscles that make you look like you're wearing a girdle. Good. And then we're going to curl the toes under, walk ourselves back. So we're onto the toes and ball of the foot, eyes toward the knees. Oof, we're going to stretch that tailbone right up toward the sky. So keep your eyes right on your knees. Send your tailbone toward the sky. Oh my goodness. There's a little stretch for your hamstrings. You can maybe walk those feet a little further apart. Really letting the tailbone be back there. Micro bend in the knees is absolutely fine. Let your fingertips come to your elbows. Put your head in the little box you've created and just give yourself a little shift side to side. If that's nauseating, of course, you don't need to do it. But if it feels good, enjoy this little stretch here as you hang low. Good. All right, now we're going to slowly make our way up. Hands come to the knees, and then we'll stand all the way up. I'm going to cut my head off, so I'm going to make a slight adjustment here. My feet are going to be less important than the rest of my body. So we're going to start with the feet comfortably out of your hips. So you feel nice and balanced. The ball of your toe all the way back, or ball of your foot all the way back to the heel are planted. Lift your toes up just a little here. Spread them apart just as far as you think you can, away from each other. And then let them come down to the mat as if you're trying to grab the mat with your toes. Good. All right, so we're going to do some standing work today and then make our way down for the second half of this workout. So, our practice. So hands are going to start right next to your hips. Your abs are engaged. And if you're someone who stands, I'm going to stand so you can see me, with your tailbone out, I'd like you to try and just tuck it under. Jaw parallel with the floor. Shoulders relax back toward each other. Shoulder caps away from your ears. Together, we'll sweep the arms up overhead. Hands coming together. I'd like you to shift your hips over to the right and reach your arms to the left like a big banana. Really stretching through the side of that body. Keeping your gaze forward, your biceps are kind of surrounding your ears here. We come up through the center, from the hips to the left and the arms to the right. As we come back to center, I'd like you to take your gaze to your hands. If a little back bend here is available, go ahead and just let the pelvis go forward. And then as your hands come past your face, soften through your knees and forward fold. As you reach your fingertips toward the floor, let the head, neck, and shoulders relax. I say toward the floor because if your fingertips don't touch the floor, that is okay. Okay, so you're reaching toward the floor. A little soft bend in your knees during a forward fold is always just fine. Good, now as we slide the hands up past the knees, we come to the thighs, straighten the legs as much as you feel like you can, and then find your weight as evenly distributed in your toes as you do the heels, and release. Now a little bit more soft bend here. We'll take the hands to the low back, interlacing the fingers, lengthen your arms here. And as you go to straighten your legs a little more, see if you can lift the arms off the low back. And as they slowly come down to the low back, we release the hands, soften through the knees, and roll all the way up. So I would suggest, and it's really great and helpful and makes some people feel much more comfortable with a forward fold. There are 3 different heights for a block. So that's why I'm bringing them in here today. Here's the highest, here's the second highest, and here's the shortest. So particularly if you have a back that is really cranky for your forward fold, using a block and being able to line yourself up feels really nice. I'm going to keep them there and use them through this next same flow that we just did. Reaching your arms to the sides, we're going to sweep them up toward the sky. Take your hands together as if in prayer. A little back bend here if you feel like you can do it. Hands come past your face, soften through your knees, and forward fold. So as I rest my hands to the blocks now, I can feel the rest of my body just kind of shift forward. I can soften my knees here a little if I like. And I feel much more balanced. As I slide the hands up past my knees to the thighs, backs are engaged. Shoulder blades toward each other. Good. Now as you release, get nice and soft here. Again, you can take your hands to the bricks if you like. We're going to sweep the hands back to your low back, interlacing your fingers. Lengthen your arms across the low back or lift them up. Deep stretch for the shoulders here. Let the head, neck, face, jaw, everything get nice and relaxed here. Then slowly release them to your low back. Release them down toward the floor. Soften your knees a little bit here if you need it. And then slowly come up. Bone by bone, we stack those vertebrae all the way up. And roll your shoulders back away from your ears. Great, so now we're feeling like we got our hamstrings to give us a little bit more generosity with the stretch. So I'm going to now start using the mat the long way. So as I step my left foot forward, I'm just going to turn it so that now my toes are pointed toward the long end of the mat. Again, I'm going to have these guys right in front of me. You could have one, and that would work just fine. But they're a good way to use your blocks for a wide leg straddle. So your toes are pointed toward the long end of your mat, and you're going to take your hands right to your hips. I want you to lead with your chin as if you're trying to place your chin on something. Shoulder blades are engaged toward each other. We feel the hips go back. Now let's really grab the floor with those toes. You feel even distribution of weight between your toes and your heels. And then release the hands down toward the floor. Let the head go. If it feels like you're really struggling to reach your fingertips to the floor, that's where the blocks come in. You can release them or release your hands right to them and then let the head go. Crown of the head toward the floor. Your gaze is back behind you. Your arms can reach toward the bricks. If they're not, your fingertips are just kind of hovering over the mat or hovering or just touching the mat. Now, as we take a stretch for the low back, I'm going to place the right hand into the brick. Take my left hand to my hip and shift so I'm opening up my chest to the left side. Now, if it's comfortable and available, then I'm going to reach that arm toward the sky. Again, did you see me shift my hips back behind? So I'm going to come back where everything's nice and even. One strong line of energy from the hand on the floor all the way to the hand towards the sky. And then as we release, we'll take that left hand toward the block. Again, right hand comes to that hip. We shift and open the chest to the right and then reach that arm toward the sky. Again, feeling those shoulders lined up nicely. And release it down. Nice. All right, as we take that block out of the way now, we can just slide the hands up toward the hips, finding that nice engaged back, shoulder blades toward each other. We're going to hinge all the way up. Shoulders back. I'm going to do that stretch one more time. So shoulders back, hands are going to come right to the crease at your hip. Your abs are engaged, your chest is proud. We lead with the chin. Again, letting the chin go forward, shoulder blades back toward each other. It's like they're trying to protect your back. Feel the weight is evenly distributed into your toes as they are to the heels. And fold forward. Now this time, if you can reach your hands out to your ankles, or actually your calves or your ankles, or if you can get to those big toes, you can sort of take your peace fingers onto the thumb toe, let your crown of your head go toward the floor. Now, and we're going to really soften here. Let the back soften, draw the navel up, and then we're going to let the knees bend a little here. And we find that nice even distribution between the toes and the heels. Our elbows kind of go out to the side. Then as we take the gaze forward and lengthen the legs, your back is going to flatten there. See it? Yeah, great. Awesome, awesome. Now watch as we soften the elbows a little, soften the knees, all those joints, let the head go. See how it just gets kind of nice and soft here, almost liquid. And then as we take that next deep breath, lengthening the arms, lengthening the legs, and taking our gaze forward. Ooh, feel that stretch. Awesome. Beautiful as you release your fingers or hands from your ankle or your toes, wherever they were. We're going to slide them up till we find that hip crease again. Take our gaze out in front and hinge all the way up. Beautiful. I'm going to step back till that left foot comes back toward the right and come to the end of the mat again. All right, we're going to take one last little flow here. Feet coming nice and close together. Maybe the toes are touching. Maybe there's, like a fist's width between your 2 feet. It really does depend on how you're feeling today, especially with your forward fold. We'll take a nice little flow here that will take us all the way to the floor. So first we reach the arms up. They go up overhead. Take our gaze to the hands. We're going to melt some of this last flow together. Take a little back bend here, reaching with the fingers. Good. Now as you take your next deep breath, we're going to sweep the hands over to the left, hips to the right. as if we're blowing in a breeze, and then come back to center. Take your gaze towards your hands, sweeping back. Keeping your breath fluid as you take your gaze forward, we take the hips to the left and the hands to the right. Good. As you come back to center, this time with the hands, or the eyes come to the hands, we're going to walk them right past your face, soften through your hips, melt your fingertips toward the floor, let the head, neck, and shoulders relax here. Remember, that micro bend in your knees can be a real game changer, so take it if you need it. Slide your hands up your shins till you find that flat back, really feeling the hamstrings here be tight and firm, really engage through the thighs, and then soften. Belly comes toward the thighs. We reach our gaze out and look toward the sky for our chair pose. Now sink the hips even deeper. Belly comes toward the thighs. Walk out to a nice strong plank. Glutes, abs, thighs engaged. You might take your knees to the floor. If you need that for your plank, absolutely fine. Pushing the heels back behind you. Now send the hips to the sky, pushing the earth away to your downward facing dog. Looking back toward your toes, drawing the navel in, tailbone toward the sky. Let's lift the heels all the way up, really up on the tippy toes. And then as we take our gaze toward the thumbs, we're going to bend the knees deeply, take them to the floor, and push back to child. And make a little adjustment again. So you're back in your child's pose, maybe breathing a little heavier than you expected for your gentle yoga. But, oh my goodness, it'll feel great to be on the floor. And then we'll make our way back up to our nice strong table position. And just shift your hips over to one side or the other and sweep your feet out in front. All right, we're going to push those feet straight out in front of us and then really flex your toes so they're coming back towards your shins. Here's another time blocks come in handy for staff pose. Go sideways so we can see what it looks like. When we're flexing our feet toward the shins here, we're going to find that really nice tall posture. So the back of my head is lined up with my shoulders, is lined up with my tailbone. And then to gently press into these blocks, I have to really bend my elbows, but I'm going to draw my sternum forward, the chest forward, but the shoulders still remain away, shoulder caps remain away from your ears. So sometimes the blocks can be really helpful here. I'm going to take them away just so because I can feel myself sort of relying on them. So I'm going to push that chest forward, really drawing the toes toward the shins. It's a very quiet and deceptively challenging pose. You maintain that really beautiful posture and breathe. Good. Now as you take your next deep breath, I want you to release your elbows here. Draw the knees in toward the body. You can maintain this really nice flat back. I'd like you to reach around your thighs and give yourself a hug. Still your gaze is forward, but we're just pulling that rib cage right into the thighs. Good. Now, as we walk the heels in just a little closer, let's let the head come down toward the knees. You might be able to reach in and really grab onto the elbows or a little bit further down your forearm. And release that. Beautiful. Now as you come up into a seated position, we'll extend that right leg all the way out. And by your right leg, I mean your actual right leg. Going to my left, there we go. So we've got the right leg out, and let's keep those right toes still awake, okay? So they're pulling toward that shin there. And you've got your left leg. Anatomy's hard. Pulling that left really close to your body. Again, you can feel that rib cage and belly kind of rest against your left thigh. We're going to give it a little hug. And then really embrace it with your right hand. Take your left hand behind you like a kickstand and just give it a little stretch here. Breathing deeply. And start to feel that heart rate coming down a little. And now as we release this twist, we'll come back to that left leg. Place it on the other side of your right leg. I'm going to take the hands back at the hips, then shift the right sole of the foot toward the floor. Now it's your left leg that you can adjust and walk yourself up. You can bend the elbows, come a little closer. You can shift side to side with it. Whatever works for you to feel like you're getting some benefit. I'm going to draw this a little closer. And you can play around with this too, with this foot. Maybe you have to get a little bit closer. Pushing the chest forward and continuing to breathe. Now as we come up this next time, we're going to keep that foot there. So now look, my right heel goes under my left hip. Left foot goes to the floor on the right side. Now we find that tall posture again. Shoulder caps away from the ears, drawing that right knee toward your body. So you're feeling this hip, but you can feel this quadricep getting a really nice stretch on the right side. Good, we'll release, hands come to the side. We're going to shift those feet straight out. Oh yeah, right back to that nice tall seated position. So now both feet are very much engaged. I'm going to draw that right leg in nice and close to the body, sitting up very tall. Flex those left toes, hugging tightly. Now as we give it a hug with that left arm, keep that left foot nice and awake. And then twist looking over that right shoulder. And back we come to center. We'll take this leg on the other side. That hug and twist. And as we come back to center, the hands walk right back toward those hips, then walk the foot in, shifting that left leg. Same thing on this side, but this is remarkably harder for me on this side than the other. One hip must be really, really tight, It feels like my right leg is really tight here. So I'll just fiddle around, like explore with moving it. Maybe getting that heel a little closer. Again, you can soften and straighten your elbows. Pushing the chest forward and breathing through it. As we soften into those elbows, we're going to sweep that foot around, and as we sit up nice and tall, here we are again. Right foot's on the left heel is under that right hip, and give it a little hug towards your body, shoulders away from your ears, coming back to your breath. All right, now as we release this time, there's going to be a little different shift. So we'll release the right foot from that left side. Let's keep the left leg bent. I'm going to shift that leg back. I've still got my heel kind of, or that foot kind of flexed and the heel back here. But now the left sole of my foot is on that right thigh. As we come over the top, this is when I'm going to drag one of these blocks with me this time. As we go out over the top of this thigh, this can sometimes be very tight. You use those blocks to put your forearms there. Should you not have those, you can stack your fists. But if you feel like you can drift all the way to the floor and bring that forehead all the way to the floor, that's your other option. You've got lots of options here. Resting the rib cage across that thigh. Try to do a little body scan where you find your forehead and your eyes and your jaw and neck and shoulders all relaxed. Keeping your breathing nice and fluid. On your next deep breath, we'll ease our way back up. So hands on either side of that thigh. As you shift up, we'll just sweep that foot forward. That's your right. And then your left will go back. We'll tuck that right leg into the thigh. And again, I'm going to keep this block out. I'm feeling a little tight here today, so this comes in handy as I come out over the top of that brick. I can just rest my arms here and let my head fall forward. Now as I breathe and I find a little bit more depth, maybe I can remove the brick, but it's not necessary. If it feels okay, we can just hang out right here. Nice, sinking in. Each subsequent breath makes you feel just a little deeper into the pose. Your face, your shoulders, your hands, your toes, everything's nice and relaxed. And as we take our next deep breath, we shift our weight back up over the top of that thigh, making your way back up to a seated position. We'll sweep both feet out. And again, let's take that tall posture so your knees are shifted out to the side, soles of your feet are together, We'll reach your arms up towards the sky. Watch those hands as they reach out toward your feet. You've created a big diamond, and you're going out toward the toes. Toward is the operative word. Again, if the toes are unreachable today, you can slide your hands under your ankles and kind of let your head fall forward. You can hang on to the ankles or the feet, whatever works for you, but then let the shoulders shrug forward. We'll take ourselves up nice and tall, really lengthen your arms, and then again, pull those elbows out to the side and let yourself fold forward again. Good. Let's slowly make our way up. Hands to the thighs, bringing yourself all the way up to seated. Closing your legs as if you're closing a big book. And I'm going to stay facing this way. As you make your way down to the floor, I'd like you to tuck your knees in really nice and close to your body. Shift back. Pull those knees into your chest. Reach your arms out to a T. So now your hands are toward the floor. We're just going to shift the hips over to the right side and then extend the leg out. Now this might be a place where you can take that blanket. If it feels like it's just too much of a twist, you can put those legs under there. Then reach that foot out to the side. That'd be your left leg. You can straighten it. You can keep the knee bent. Some of you might be able to grab onto your thumb toes with your fingers and really open it up. And then you can play around with looking out over your hand, look up at the ceiling. Really feeling a beautiful stretch through the whole side of your body. And then back we come to our center position, bringing those knees back to your chest. You can kind of rock yourself side to side. Let the head, neck, shoulders, everything be nice and flat on the floor. Well, this time I think I will do just so you can see what it looks like. As I open up my palms out to the side and towards the ceiling, I'm going to tip those knees over to the left. And now as I look over my right hand, oh my goodness, I can really feel that stretch across my pectoralis, into the bicep, all of that. Really nice deep stretch. And again, the right leg is going over to the left. If that leg being extended is just too much, bend the knee. If you feel like, man, I like this, but I wish I could get a little deeper, you could take that bottom leg, grab onto the foot, extend the top leg. There's all different kinds. Just please play around with this. If you don't force anything that feels super uncomfortable, because we don't want to be injured, but if you can feel that little, if you want a little extra stretch, then please take it. Gently placing your left hand on your knee might be just enough. One more nice breath. Good. Then we'll shift those knees back over the body. Now, if you have to adjust your hips back under you, absolutely fine. And tuck them in. And then we're going to get to why I asked you to bring a blanket today. And if you want to keep If you have blocks and you want to add them into this practice today, you can do that. We're going to go ahead and cross the ankles. And if you can find a little momentum, you find your way back up. What we're going to do with the blanket, kind of roll it up so that it'll be supportive of your back. So we're going to put this straight down the middle section of our back. You'll be able to see, I hope, sideways. Then I'm going to take this block and put it at the end of the blanket. My tailbone is going to rest across that blanket, and see how my head now is right in line with everything. So I've got my knees nice and close here. If I just let my hips go and then open up my arms, just slowly open everything up. Oh, brother, you'll feel a really nice stretch through your chest. This is adding a little bit of height. If you do not have a blanket, you're totally fine right here. Just open up and your knees are bent. Let your gaze go toward the ceiling. Relaxed jaw. Sometimes I have to check because I do clench my teeth or I stick my tongue out in the front. You just kind of open up your jaw, make sure it's nice and soft. And then let's walk the ankle bones to touch each other and then open your knees out to the side. Oh my goodness. Now this adds a little something special to your butterfly pose, right? Now my belly and my chest are up, my arms are reached out, and as I let those knees go out to the side, I really feel a beautiful deep stretch through here. If it's too much, you just pull that blanket out and you are fine. You can even rest your hands across your belly, feel the rise and fall of your breathing. Deep breath here. We'll walk those knees back toward each other. Let's keep the left knee bent and draw the right leg in. You'll feel those hips come up off the floor a little bit. If you're on your blanket, your left foot is staying on the floor for that very reason. Keeping it nice and balanced here. Hug that leg in nice and tight. Again, relaxing your face and shoulders. And we slowly let the hips come down, releasing the right leg. Let's draw the left leg in. Whoop. She said as she tips off the blanket. So tuck that left leg in, hug, 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 get nice and close. Good. Now, as you release that foot down to the floor, if you choose, you can take this blanket right out from under you, and I'm going to show you a beautiful place to put it. For your final meditation pose, you can slide it right underneath your knees. So right under the knee joint, I'm going to release this out to the side. As you make your way to your forearms, oh my goodness, feel how that body just settles in. So your knees are supported by your blanket and see your feet just relax out to the side. In your mind's eye, you can see those heels are kind of reaching towards their right heel toward the right corner, left toward the left. And then check out how you would feel most comfortable with your palms out to the side Both them down to the floor with your hands rested across your heart and belly, whatever works for you. And I promise you, you do not have to stay stock still through your final meditation pose. We will do a little body scan, but I want you to, if you have to make any adjustments, bend your knees, take your knees toward each other, shift over to the side, whatever works for you, okay? Right. So we find that final meditation pose. I want you to just picture the color of your hair, see the top of your head as it points toward a wall behind you. And in your mind's eye, you can see yourself from above. Your forehead is relaxed. Your jaw is soft. Shoulders relaxed away from your ears. And your arms are heavy all the way past your biceps to your elbows, past your wrists to your hands and fingers. The gentle rise and fall of your breathing. Your hips are heavy in the mat, and your legs relaxed from the very tops of your thighs, past your knees, your calves, ankles, feet, and toes. You begin to allow small movements to come back into your hands and your feet. Maybe you shift yourself over onto your favorite side, or bend your knees, bringing your awareness back to the room. You might shift your arm under your head and just relax here for a moment. Starting to go through the to-do list that is the rest of your day. It's always my hope after this practice that you feel like you can find some more energy and feel a little bit better about the rest of your day. And we'll very slowly let's use our hands. Don't make your back do all the work. Bringing yourself to a seated position. And let's together just gaze down toward your lap, closing your eyes. Getting little signals from your body about how it feels. And take a moment to just be grateful that you feel good about how your practice went today. And maybe you feel a little bit more progress from the last time you practiced. Or you just felt like it was really good for you to do this for your body. And then take your hands to your heart. Take a deep breath in. And together a big, loud, boisterous exhale. As you lift your gaze and blink your eyes open, I am so grateful you're here today. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me, and I hope you get to stay warm. I hope this was a great practice for you. Please do not hesitate to give me any feedback. I'm always happy to have it. I'm going to put this in my YouTube channel, so anything you want to, post there, don't hesitate to do it. And until next time, I will see you around. Have a great day, Deb.